What is going on over at Manchester United? You guys need to let me know. What is going on? What's it been? A week? 2 weeks since Ruben Amorim sacked himself? He pushed the red button, he pulled the ejector seat, and he was out of there. And now it looks like Michael Carrick's going to be the new interim manager. The new interim manager. Think about that. That could never be my club. I tell you that for free. That could never be Arsenal. But we're just here for the vibes, man. We're here for the entertainment. We are back, guys. Welcome back to the video. Welcome back to the group chat. And yeah, we're just going to talk about Manchester United and the chaos that's going on over there. How did it all go so wrong? Madness. Madness. Okay, first thing I wanted to talk about is it just me? Or has any club ever gone through this much effort to hire an interim manager? I've I've never heard that before. Maybe this is standard procedure, but I've never heard that before. Like it's like a 4-stage, 5-stage interview. First you have the telephone interview, then you have the video interview, then you have the psychometric test. Then you come in to meet the owners to have a face-to-face. Like all this just for interim manager. I don't know. It seems like a lot of effort for somebody who you're not keeping. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever had this. You've ever, your car's been in an accident and the garage have to take the car away. And while they're repairing the car, they give you a courtesy car. Has anyone ever specced out a courtesy car? Has anyone ever said, yeah, okay, so I want cream leather seats, I want a sunroof, I want one of them sporty steering wheels, and I want 19-inch rims on my courtesy car, thanks. And they're like, sure, sir, I'll spec that out for you. Never has that happened. That's what this is like. This is like specking out your courtesy car. They're never gonna keep Michael Carrick. So what's all the madness? And then why don't you just hire a new manager? Why are you going through you're going through the whole rigmarole of getting him in? He's going to be in until the summer. I guess this means that they don't necessarily need to back him as such. He's just going to have to use whatever's available. He's going to have to use the same players. He's going to have to use whatever resources they have there. And there won't have to be any financial outlay that is typical of them when they're backing a new manager. They're not going to buy players specifically for Michael Carrick. So I guess that's one benefit. But yeah, I just found it bizarre. I just found it bizarre. But it's crazy to sit back and watch the downfall from down south. That could never be Arsenal. Sorry. How did it go so wrong? I remember when Amorim joined. He was supposed to be the savior. Everyone looked at his success at Sporting and they were like, yeah, we needed some of that. The Moncler Mourinho I was hearing. Yeah. He was better than fashion than at formations. He was better at shopping than at strategy. So I don't know why these guys got gassed up off of this guy who was doing good in the Portuguese league. But the Portuguese league is not the Premier League. Even Arsenal fans are seeing that because we bought Victor Gyökeres, and when he was smashing 30-odd goals in the Portuguese league, he can't do that over here. Now, we still have hope that he will find his form and, he will click in the Arsenal team and the way we play. But so far, that Portuguese tax is high. So yeah, Amorim couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't come with the same tactics. He couldn't come with the same formation, 3 at the back or 5 at the back, playing wing backs, and expect to emulate the same success that he had in the Portuguese league. He wasn't even beating the worst team in the Premier League, which is Wolves. It was a draw. So yeah, if ever there was an example to highlight the difference and the superiority between the Premier League and the Portuguese league, that was it. He couldn't come and do all of that stuff and think he was gonna, run things like he was running when he was back at Sporting. So chaotic over there, man. Chaotic over there. But, I'm in my car and they're like the car crash on the side of the road, man. Like no one's hurt. Let's just keep it like that. It's not a serious crash. The car's just ended up flipped over in a ditch and we're just driving by and looking on. And it's jokes and entertainment, trust me. But yeah, never Arsenal. It highlights the clubs that have a stable organization behind the football. It highlights the importance of stability. When your board, when your owners have a clear vision, and that vision is the DNA of your club, and it goes all the way through from the staff to the manager to the scouts to the sporting directors to the players to the fans. When there's that whole cohesiveness between all elements of the club, you see how it ends up being a much more stable and much more cohesive organization. The direction is clear and all moving parts are moving in the same direction. They're all trying to achieve a common goal. But when you have the discord and disharmony that we've come to associate with Manchester United, it's crazy. It's crazy. First of all, the ownership is split. And that is a master stroke by the Glazers. I have to hand it to them because nobody's saying Glazers out right now. Not really, not that loudly. You don't even hear Glazers anymore. What are you hearing? You're hearing Ineos. You're hearing Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And they just outsourced the part of the business that they didn't want to deal with anymore. So they still have the financial, leverage that they have with owning a club like Manchester United, but without the headache, without the fans protesting. And who's dealing with that? Ineos and Sir Jim. They're the four guys. It's a crazy situation. And again, it's a unique organization. It's a unique structure that they've put in place. Not that I've seen that any other club, where you have two organizations. One has all the financial benefits, the other one, some financial benefits, but all of the footballing headache. And they don't know what they're doing. It would appear that they don't know what they're doing. They're just lurching from one manager to the next. With each manager comes significant financial investment. You buy into a manager's vision and then you back him. So you give him his players. Players are expensive right now. So you're talking about tens of millions, if not more, to buy these players that this manager wants. And that's going to, give him the best chance of success. And then a year later, 18 months later, you've just scrapped that whole project because you've had to sack the manager. And all those players that you bought for him, who's to say that the next manager is going to want to use them? Who's to say that they're suitable for the next manager's vision? So now every new manager is a new project and you're starting all over again. Which then, when I think on that, maybe having an interim manager until the summer is a good idea, because you're not having to financially back him. He just has to work with what's already there. He has to work with those players. He has to work within the system and the resources available to him when he joins and he takes the job. So maybe it's for that reason that they are holding off on finding a permanent solution or permanent replacement for Ruben Amorim, and they're going with an interim until the summer. But seriously, never seen it. Never seen this much effort going into finding an interim. And Oli can't get a job. Wow. Imagine losing out on an interim job to Carrick as well. Well, jobs for the boys, eh? Like I said, could never be Arsenal, could never be my club. Manchester United needs to be studied. It needs to be studied to go from the heights that they were, where, you know, they were definitely the best club in England and at times were the best club in Europe and probably the world. Probably the largest global fan base, financial clout. They had the best manager in the world, Sir Alex Ferguson, at the time. And then ever since he left, it's just been a steady decline. David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ralph Rangnick, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Eric Ten Hag, Ruben Amorim. I'm sure I haven't done all of them, but these are the ones that I remember. And yeah, it's just from one bad manager to the next. And again, what's the direction? What's the style of play? I was shocked, actually. I was shocked when they were able to attract Cunha and Mbeumo. I was very shocked because why would you look at that organization over the last years, you know, under Ten Hag? Why would you look at that organization and think, yeah, you know what, I want to dedicate the next 3 years of my career to that? That's madness. But, you know, if you're a Man United fan, maybe that loyalty is the thing that makes you make that decision. But yeah, I never understand why players who have potential and can go to much smoother, much better structured organizations and clubs, why they would choose to go to Man United. But, you know, maybe the money's good. Anyway, Man United in crisis. We love to see it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.